Coming in hot from Arizona, this is Trevor
and Troy Howard.
And you're on So Tell Us Time. You can have everything you want in your business. Sometimes you just need a little help.
Every business owner would love to charge more for their services, but sometimes you can sacrifice long-term loyalty for a short-term profit.
Creating the right rituals is key to your business having success.
Are you tired of competing with your competitors? Guess what? You don't have to compete if you create.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of So Tell Us Time. We are back in studio, back in office, back in Arizona, and we're excited to be here. We're excited to be here with you guys today. It's going to be a fun day. Okay, so today we're going to jump right in. Today we're talking about you are or you aren't. You either got it or you don't, all right? Well, what does that mean? That means, or what we're talking about here is being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. In fact, it's funny because most people don't see the struggle of the entrepreneur when they're saying this. They see where the entrepreneur is in that moment, right? And a lot of times when they're saying, oh, must be nice, it's a successful entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who's having found success.
So not like, must be nice that guy's about to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur.
They have no idea what's really going on, right? They see the outside of it. But yeah, that's it. Like, the thing is, not everybody has what it takes. Everybody would like to be an entrepreneur, but not everybody has what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So today, we're going to be talking about some of the reasons that people like look at it and go, oh, that must be nice. And then 5 things that make a really like strong entrepreneur, a very successful entrepreneur. So Troy, go ahead. Let's dive in.
Yeah, like Trevor said, we can't tell you how many times you come across people that are like, oh, you own your own business. That's so awesome.
Must be nice.
Right? And they look at us like we have a ton of freedom. We get to be able to go and do all these things. And they're like, oh, man, that is just so nice for you. Like, I have a job that I have to go to.
Oh, I have to work.
Yeah. But what no one sees is they don't see the hard work, right? The 20 plus years that we put into the business to get where we are.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So there are just some people who are made to be entrepreneurs and some that are not. And then there's other people that are right in that middle and they learn how to be great entrepreneurs. And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. I mean, for our business, as an example, Troy and I worked for years, and Ron worked for years, multiple jobs. In fact, in the very beginning, Troy was VP of a company over in Vegas, and you were going there, was it once for a whole week?
Yeah.
Once a month?
No.
Or is it twice for 2 weeks?
No, for a while there, I was flying there every single week, Monday through Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And flying home for the weekends with my families. And then it got down to where it was like, I spent 1 week a month in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And again, at the same time, helping build our business.
Yeah.
Then I was an airline pilot flying and helping to build this business. So yeah, we all did multiple jobs.
Multiple things. And, it was years of us making no money. No money, other than the other jobs we were working to pay the bills. So people look at us now and they're like, oh, must be nice, and, but they just don't get it because, for instance, I'll give you an example. I have a brother who is a doctor and he is like, oh man, he's surrounded by all these entrepreneurs and of course, successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys just have it made. You guys, I went to school for so long and you guys all make more money than me. This is just ridiculous. I mean, I'm a doctor, and I'm like, yeah, and I barely graduated high school. I always like to rub it in his face a little bit, I'm like, how's your education doing? But, and I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing is, we've talked about this multiple times. He doesn't want to do the things, and I think you're going to list a lot of these, but he doesn't want to do the things that it takes to be an entrepreneur. In fact, just one of the biggest things for him is he would hate the ups and downs. Yeah. And I know that's probably one of your bullet points, but he hated the ups and downs. He wants a steady paycheck, And so, by the way, he works 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And we're working like 24/7. So that's probably another one of your points. I won't take them all. So go ahead and dive in with the points of those. But.
Yeah. And so let's just talk about a couple of those. One is, like the people, you are or you aren't. Like the people that want to work 40 hours a week, they want to clock out after that and never have to think about their job again. that's not an entrepreneur.
Not until the next morning. Yeah, they don't think about it.
Even for me, when I was flying, for the airlines, it was awesome. At the end of my 4 or 5 day, 6 day, trip, when I walked out of that jet, I didn't have to think about work at all until I showed back up, right?
So cool.
And it was awesome. It was great. But, that didn't satisfy the entrepreneurial side of me.
Right.
But, so if that's what you want, then, you just want to do your 40 hours and be done, then being an entrepreneur is probably not for you.
No, because a lot of times, especially in the beginning or even through the middle or even at just different points in the business, you could be 20, 30, 40 years into it, and you're still going to have times where you have these ups and downs, right? And so there may be times that you are not working a 40-hour work week because you're working an 80-hour work week.
Exactly.
As an entrepreneur. And you never stop. You don't get to clock out at 5 p.m. and forget about it. It doesn't work that way.
Yep, exactly. It's really a 24/7 kind of thing.
Yep.
Another thing is limited scope of work, meaning like this is what I do for my job and this is only what I do. And I'm not going to do anything outside of that.
Totally.
If that's you, then you're probably not an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Because when you're an entrepreneur, you need to basically wear every hat. You are, you're the bookkeeper, you're the accountant, you're the operations person, you're the toilet scrubber.
And let's be honest, at least 5 of those things that Troy named, you were probably faking it till you made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you might be really good at what you do, but you're not great at bookkeeping. But guess what? You're still the bookkeeper.
Right. So, as an entrepreneur, you have to, especially in the beginning, be able to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to keep the company going. Another one Trevor kind of mentioned is, regular pay and stability versus feast or famine.
Totally.
And that is a big thing. As entrepreneurs, there's a lot of famine. And then there's those moments of feasting where you're like, this is awesome.
Yep.
And then what happens, usually it's like things are going great. So you start to grow the business and then it's back to famine time again because you got to pay to grow the business.
Totally.
Right. Until you can get that feast. So it's really this roller coaster of revenue that you go through to grow the business.
And the funny thing is, I have never been more poor than as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I made more money many a times working for somebody else.
Absolutely.
But of course I've also made more money than I, ever have at being an entrepreneur as well.
Yep.
So it goes both ways, but you got to be willing to do it, right?
All right. So those are kind of the criteria, just a couple of things to think about, And now let's get on to the 5 qualities of a successful entrepreneur. Now, this isn't a total list of every quality.
If you don't have every one of these, you suck and you're going to fail.
Yeah, or,
Just kidding.
This is all you need. There are other qualities out there besides these that you need, but these are 5 good qualities to kind of help you understand what makes a successful entrepreneur. And number 1 is understanding and know what you offer.
Yeah.
And that sounds really simple. Like, oh, well, yeah, of course. Like I'm a carpet cleaner. I offer carpet cleaning. And there you go. Check that box. But it's not necessarily that simple. It's because you got to know what you sell. But you got to know how to sell it, actually sell it.
Yep.
Just because you know how to clean carpets doesn't mean you know how to sell carpet cleaning.
Correct. Yep.
And then you also need to know what your market wants.
Yeah. Well, because if you think about it, and a perfect example of this is, and Troy and I have talked about this many times, we've mentioned this before, so we're not offending anybody. Don't take offense to this. But our dentists.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of the dentists we deal with, they really don't want to run the business. They don't want to be in charge of everything and having to manage everything like an entrepreneur does, like a business owner does.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times they'll get a manager, an office manager. They'll promote someone to be an office manager, and they just want to be back doing what they were built to do. They want to take care of teeth. When they've got butts in chairs, they're making money, dollar signs, right? So that's what they like to focus on, and that's not a dig or a diss or anything. That's just a fact. They like to focus on that, butts in chairs, money coming in, and they let somebody else manage and take over the rest of the operations.
And that's the thing. The really smart ones are able to see that, like, look, this is what I want to do in the business.
Right.
And I'm going to do that because I'm the best at it.
That's right.
But then I'm going to bring in somebody who could do the part that I don't want to do.
Yes.
And they're going to be able to do the best at that.
And I'm going to give you a quick tip here for all my dentists listening. The major reason that the dentists fail is because they bring the wrong people in.
Yeah.
They go to the back, they want butts in chairs, they want to do work, and they're not paying attention, and they've got a terrible office manager. They're not recording the phone calls. They've got terrible people answering the calls. I mean, time and time again, we have had this happen to where it's like your people answering your phone who should be the best are sometimes the worst, and you have no idea because you're in the back. So that's just a quick tip. All my dentists, get recording your phone calls and listen to them. Listen to your people.
All right. So the next one is determined motivation and passion. So what that means is basically, as an entrepreneur, you have to motivate yourself.
100%.
There's nobody else out there that's going to motivate you. If you can't motivate yourself, you're not going to be successful in the business.
No.
So that's something to look at. And passion is a big part of it too.
Oh.
If you don't love what you're doing, and I think that goes back to Trevor's point of the dentist. If the dentist loves working on teeth in the back, and that's where his passion is, then he should hire somebody in the front to do the front end part of it, and hire someone who's passionate about doing it and doing it correctly. So that's a big part of it. And the third one is strong work ethic.
Well, and real quick too, on passion, you have to be passionate about what you're doing because a lot of times you're like, why am I doing this? I'm not making any money. I'm missing out on my kids' activities. There's a lot of downside to being an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And if you're being, there's a lot of downside, to be honest, if you're being successful. And that sounds kind of funny. But you, especially in the beginning, you create the success by giving up in the beginning so that you get the long term, in all honesty. And so you have to be passionate or you are going to burn out. Right. If you are doing something that you don't love or feel passionate about, when I go to an event, Troy and I have been to so many events. We're heading to our last one for the year. I'm so excited. But when I'm at an event, people are like, can I just steal you? Can I just take you with me? Because the passion that comes out, the energy that comes out, I truly know and believe that my stuff is the absolute best and it's going to change lives and businesses. And so people feel that passion and it's not fake. It's not made up. It's real because I'm an entrepreneur and it attracts people.
Yes.
Right. So you have to, or you're gonna freaking run out. You're gonna run out of juice.
Absolutely. It was actually funny because I remember at the last event we're at, one of the people near us was like, they leaned over to me and they go, where does he get all that energy from? How does he just keep going and going and going?
No, just kidding.
And it's passion. That's what it really is. It's passion. That's what kept you going. All right. So the third one is strong work ethic. And this one is really important. There's no punching out. When you're an entrepreneur, there's no punching out at the end of the day.
Right.
And just clocking out and forgetting about the business. It's a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When there's an emergency on a Sunday afternoon, you've got to jump up. You've got to take care of it. So if you don't have a strong work ethic, you are going to fail as an entrepreneur.
And that is the one thing. I mean, Ron taught us to work like a horse. That guy he's a Clydesdale, that's for sure. I mean, we couldn't get, that guy's been retired, almost 4 or 5 years, 4 years now or whatever. We were like kicking him out of the office all the time. Like, get out of here, you're not working. He's like, let me go to events with you then, but the guy is a workhorse. And that really did save me personally. I learned to work hard because I wasn't smart in school. I think I was actually I have ADHD, so I think I was kind of bored with school. It was moving at a really slow pace. I was like the little zippity bird that runs and the coyote's always trying to get him.
The road runner.
Yeah, I was going 100 miles an hour and the teachers were like, so. And so anyways, but regardless, I wasn't going to, become anything because of my academics. That's for sure. My education, right? So working hard in my opinion, I teach my kids all day long. You have to learn to work hard. And if you learn to work hard, you can be successful anywhere in life. If I lost my company today, I would start at a McDonald's. I don't care. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd go to a McDonald's, but you better believe within 2 to 3 months, I will be managing that McDonald's. And then eventually I'm going to own my own.
Right.
That's who I am.
Exactly.
It's ingrained in me. And if you've got that, you're going to be successful.
Yeah. We've always said in our company, we will take a hard worker and teach them what they need to know to be successful versus take someone who has an education but no work ethic.
Oh, the lazies.
So work ethic is really important as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay. The next one, number 4. This one's a tough one for me. risk taker.
That's where I come into play.
As an entrepreneur, you need to be a risk taker,
Yep.
right? You need to be able to withstand the pressures of taking those risks and keep moving forward. Now, as you guys know, with Trevor and my personality, he's the risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the conservative one who's always trying to pull back on the reins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that we have this relationship and this business, because if I was in charge of the business, we would be very conservative and we would not have the growth, right, that we have had over these years, because I wouldn't be willing to take those risks. And then with Trevor on the other side, it's my ability to pull back and go, hey, you know what? This is too much risk. We don't want to lose, what we've got.
Exactly.
So, but being able to be a risk taker is really important, because as an entrepreneur, you have to take risks in order to be successful.
That's right. And again, one thing that I think we said earlier, and maybe we didn't, but you need to be surrounding yourself with these kind of people. If you are not that, if you are the risk taker, but you don't have the person who is grounding you, keeping your feet, just not too far off the ground, holding on to your shirt so you don't float away, you need that person to ground you.
Yeah.
You need that person who is very analytical about everything. They want numbers. They want facts. Like, show it to me. If you can prove it to me, then we move on. It's like when I do the marketing for us, I'm like, Troy's like, show me that it's working, and then we'll increase the budget.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see our budget doesn't increase until we see that it's working, that we have the hard facts, right? So anyways, get those kind of people if you're not personally that kind of person.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. And then the fifth thing is a creative thinker.
Yep.
And this is really important because the market is constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to be creative and be able to adapt quickly in order to be successful.
Right.
So if you're not creative, if you can't think outside of the box, then it's going to be very hard to be an entrepreneur, because your competitors who can think outside the box are going to be taking the business away from you.
That's right.
So being a creative thinker is really important. All right. Anything else you want to add, Trevor, before we hit the homework?
That sounds good. Let's do the homework. Evaluate yourself in these qualities. And if you fall short, look for people that can take those roles in your company. So basically, just be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my faults, and I have no problem expressing my faults. I have no problem owning them. Actually, my faults are usually Troy's strengths and my weaknesses, right? And Troy's vice versa.
Yeah.
Troy's weaknesses are my strengths. That's why we work so well together. Find those right people, surround yourself with them, whether they're employees or partners or whatever. But I'll tell you one thing, don't ever align yourself with the exact same person.
No.
You guys will never freaking get anything done. You got to have one guy to stretch the bubble, right?
Yep.
And you got to have the other guy that holds on just tight enough to that bubble that it doesn't pop, right?
Yep.
Okay, guys. Well, that's it. We love you. We appreciate you. We've had such a great time with you. I can't believe the year's almost freaking over, dude. We're just a couple of months away. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanksgiving. I love when Halloween hits. By the way, happy Halloween, everybody. Yesterday was Halloween, and I hope you guys all had a great time. But it's like Halloween hits, then it's Thanksgiving, then it's my birthday in December. What? And then it's Christmas, right? People are like, your birthday in December, that must suck. No, dude, I always made sure I got double the presents. It was awesome. Basically, it's like it's party month, December. So the new year, guys, it's coming up fast. So yeah, my one last piece of advice is you better freaking have implemented these things we've been talking about. We give you homework every week. You better do it.
Yeah.
And if you have, I guarantee your business has grown. So we love and appreciate you. Guys, we will check you out on the next episode of So Tell Us Time.